Hello and welcome back. I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more Europa Universalis IV, the tutorial series with FilthyRobot. How's it going, Filthy?
Can we really use the term play? Because we haven't moved yet.
Yes, we can. This is a tutorial campaign, right? We got to talk about all the important things before we're allowed to unpause.
This is like setting up the board and like a very advanced
Well, believe it.
game.
Hey, that's a great comment that you just made there. Believe it or not, the history of Europa Universalis IV, this game was created off of a board game.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Europa Universalis IV was a board game before it became a computer game. So that's why you'll see a lot of dice. There's dice involved in the game. There's, it's a completely understandable comparison. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and talk about advisors. So we're going to play greedy. You're allowed to go into debt in EU4. You don't have to have positive money. And so we're going to risk going into debt in favor of min-maxing and getting more Monarch points. Okay. So go ahead and click on the You Have a Free Advisor slot button, the alert.
Got it.
This is going to take us to our court tab, which if you ever need to get there, you can use the shortcut key 1 for. And there's 3 little portraits that are blank in the bottom left corner of the screen. We've got one for administrative, one for diplomatic, one for military.
How did you tell which was which?
The administrative looks like a little quill with paper.
Oh, it actually says it. Okay, when I mouse over the blank spot, it actually tells me administrative, diplomatic, military.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And then the little dove thing is always going to be diplomatic, and the little sword sky is always going to be military. You'll come to recognize those symbols.
I have a feeling our military advisor is going to be very annoyed with us when we recruit him.
No, he's just going to painstakingly generate Monarch points for us. So let's just real quick talk about mana, as some people like to call it in this game. Monarch points are a resource that you accrue over time, depending on the skill of your leader, depending on the quality of your advisors, depending on your power projection, a number of factors. Generally, the most Monarch points you can earn in any specific category is like 15, if you really max out every single thing you could possibly do. Best leader, best advisor, good power projection, etc., etc. Right now, we're generating, to the right of this interface, you see 655?
Yes.
6 administrative power per month, 5 diplomatic power, and 5 military power per month. That's what we're earning on a monthly basis.
Okay.
By hiring
Monarch points.
Yes, Monarch points is the all-encompassing term for administrative, diplomatic, and military all together. They're considered
so are we making
Monarch
16?
points. We're making...
That seems like really high compared to what you were saying.
We're making 16. I said 15 per category.
Per category, got it.
We could be earning 15 administrative, 15 diplomatic, and 15 military per month if things were maxed out.
Got it.
And the way we would do that is if we had a 666 leader, we're a 322. See King James Stewart at the top left, he's a 322 leader.
Yep, got it.
Those can go from a range from 0 to 6.
So he's kind of a weak leader.
Yeah, he's slightly subpar. His overall stats are, he's got 7 pips, right? 3 plus 2 plus 2. And again, if you can go from 0 to 6 in each category, then the dynamic range there would be from 0 to 18. So he's at 7 out of 18. So he's a little bit below average, average being about 9.
Okay.
So King James is a little bit of a loser. That's okay, though. So anyway, we're going to hire some cheap advisors to try to generate as many Monarch points as possible. So go ahead and click the left, the top left portrait, Recruit Advisor.
Got it.
Now we're presented with 3 options. Depending on your income, you will see some that are at +2, some that are at +1. Notice how the bottommost guy is a +1 in the top right corner of his interface.
Yeah.
Yearly prestige +1, and then +1 administrative skill. Okay. Mr. Lennox McGregor is +1, and then Ian Natin, whatever the hell his name is +2. Notice the cost per month. We got 4 ducats a month for the theologian, and 1 ducat a month for the other 2.
What is this other modifier? I see a stability cost modifier and a national unrest and a yearly prestige in the top left of each of them.
Yep. So advisors give you 2 things. Number 1, they generate Monarch points. That's their primary advantage. Number 2 is they have an effect depending on the type of advisor they are. So in this case, all 3 of these are going to generate administrative Monarch points. Depending on which one you choose, you're going to either get the same amount of Monarch points, more Monarch points, or a different other modifier. In this case, yearly prestige, stability cost modifier, or national unrest.
Okay.
So,
feels like national unrest is not a positive modifier.
National unrest is a very good thing. It's a -2. So it's saying...
Oh, I see. Okay, it's reducing national unrest.
It's reducing all unrest in your entire country by 2 in every province. It's very solid, but we don't have any unrest right now, so it's not very, very good. Also, notice how his 4 times is more expensive for twice as many Monarch points.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get the best bang for your buck, you'd want to go right now with a level 1 advisor.
Why is there a price and a monthly? So is the price what you pay one-time fee?
Yep, that's the hiring cost, and then the monthly is the stipend that you pay him to keep him around. Notice that they have an age. Depending on their age, they will die at some point. As they get older, you can actually hover over their age, and you can see their yearly death chance. So if you hire a really old guy and he dies next year, you got to pay the hire cost again for a new guy. So sometimes
But
you want to...
do we have to pay the retire cost if he dies?
The retire cost is completely different. Retire cost we'll talk about right now, in fact. Retire cost is basically your ability to cycle out advisors. You can pay the higher cost to retire him. Just say, get the hell out of my court, I want someone different. So the higher cost for the level 2 advisor is 58 gold. He's much more expensive to retire. And you get new advisors available on every monthly tick. So if we fired both the level 1 guys, next month we would have 2 more guys show up that we could hire.
Okay.
No,
we have to fire them even if we haven't hired them?
If you want to cycle them and like
these
get
guys
new
will be
people
here until they die, and
Basically,
otherwise as our options. Oh, that's unfortunate. Like he didn't get the message, and we didn't hire him 20 years ago that we didn't want him. Exactly.
Yeah. There are some different ways that you can increase the number of available advisors. You can get your list up to 5 to choose from, and that kind of thing. You can also recruit them via estates. We'll talk about that when we get there. For now, let's go ahead and just hire the yearly prestige guy. So go ahead and click on his portrait. Do not click on...
Anything you want to tell me why you picked him?
Yeah, I will. Just make sure you don't click on retiring this advisor. Make sure you click on his portrait directly.
Yep.
So go ahead and hire him whenever you're ready. The reason we're choosing him is that prestige is a very valuable resource. It gives you more morale of armies, which is an incredibly powerful tool in the early game. When you have no tech advantage, really the only thing that determines who wins is who has more morale. So having more morale gives you more staying power in combat, and having a higher maximum morale also increases the amount of morale damage that you inflict. So prestige, because it increases maximum morale, directly affects your ability to fight.
Interesting that he was priced as less valuable, but you think he's better.
He was priced as less valuable because he's older.
Ah, okay. So that's part of it. Got it.
Yes, he has less time to live.
Advisor next?
Yep. Keep going on the list. So this guy, we've got, again, a 2, a 1, and a 1 to choose from. We're not going to be hiring level 2s. They're too expensive. Yep. We're going for bang for our buck here. Morale of navies is... it's situationally useful. It's pretty garbage for us because, unfortunately, we're playing against England. England has a much superior navy. We're never going to beat the English navy. Don't even try.
Is the morale basically the same for land units as it is for naval units? So it is as good as it was in the other case, except not in our specific circumstance.
Exactly, because our navy cannot compete with England. Don't even bother trying. So here we're looking at probably the only real option is the trade efficiency guy.
Got it.
So go ahead and hire him up.
Accepted. Moving on to the military.
Yep. Again, we're presented with a level 2, a level 1, and a level 1.
So
morale of armies or reinforce. Yeah, you got it. 10% morale of armies is probably hands down the best military advisor you can be presented with at the very beginning of the game.
Tell me, what is reinforce speed?
Your armies, if they are injured, will recover at a rate of as many as 100 troops per regiment per month.
Okay.
Now, there are some modifiers that can increase or decrease that, but let's just say on average, 10% of the army will recover each month. By having the reinforced advisor, you take that up by 33%. So 133 per month.
Okay, but if you're recovering 10%, does that bring it up to 13%?
Yes.
Or is this an added? Okay.
Every regiment has 1,000 troops in it. So when I say 133, I'm saying you would go from 100 to 133.
Raw number. Got it.
Right.
Okay, again, I'm going to recruit the morale of armies guys then, it sounds like.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very good. We like it. Now notice how we're actually losing money. But we've got a little bit of a war chest here, 50.79 ducats. It's going to take us, 50 divided by 0.53. It's going to take that many months before we go negative. And even if we did go negative, we can take out loans. And this is where we're playing greedy. If you wanted to play safe, just don't hire advisors at the beginning of the game. Always try to maintain a positive balance and go from there. But if you want to play greedy, which you really should, level 1 advisors...
With an expert who doesn't want to be called an expert. So
level 1 advisors are like the best bang for your buck because you're converting 1 ducat into 1 monarch point.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The level 2 advisors are 4 ducats for 2 monarch points, so there goes half your efficiency.
Does the scaling of their secondary bonus go up as well for the level 2 advisors?
No. They provide the exact same bonus at level 1 versus level 2 versus level 3. The only disparity is the cost for them and then the amount of monarch points they generate.
Understood.
As you get bigger, as your country has a higher income, you will be presented with better advisors. There will come a point where your country's too good to be presented with level 1 advisors, and that's a very sad day. Because level 1 advisors are really, really the best bang for your buck.
Do you know when that is? Could you preemptively hire and dismiss some level 1 advisors who will stay a long time because they're young?
Yeah, kinda. You could. They recently introduced this feature. It used to be that it would just present advisors that were on an entire scale, and then they modified it so that depending on your income, it would only present really bad guys if you have low income and really good guys if you have high income. So it's really hard to know exactly what the number is, and this is the kind of thing that changes consistently from patch to patch, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
I'm sorry, for the next episode?
Yeah.
Or are we actually unpausing
no, we're going to unpause the game. So one last resource that we haven't spent that we don't need to spend a huge amount of time on is just that notice the top of the screen, we've got 0 out of 2 merchants, which means that they're being used, which is good. 0 out of 0 colonists, we don't need to worry about that. Our diplomats are being used. We've got 1 missionary free, but if you press the O key is the religious map mode, you can see that all of our land is Catholic right now. In fact, almost all of Europe is still Catholic. So we have no reason to use a missionary because we're Catholic. So he can he's okay to just be sitting there. His name is Ian McGregor, by the way, which isn't that like the name of a singer, or is it Ewan McGregor that I'm thinking of?
I think asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think Ewan McGregor was in like what was that one movie? Shoot, I can't remember.
If it's a pop culture reference, I'm not going to get it.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and unpause the game. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Okay, so it's 11 November of 1444. We're going to unpause by clicking the top right thing. We're playing multiplayer. Normally you could just press the space key, but because it's a multiplayer, you can't press space. You've got to click the button in the top right corner. Okay. All right, we're there. We're off. We're running. There goes our Navy.
Oh, pop up.
Oh, time to pause.
Yeah.
We got 2 days in. Nice. Okay, we briefly just have to talk about what these are. So you have the exact same message settings as I do.
Sorry, just to cut you off, just half a second. I'm getting some weird audio from you. Are you showing any negatives on your end?
No, you sound fine to me. Are you getting like Skype issues or?
I'm hearing you as cutting out in and out a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's check.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just keep going. For now, it's probably just me on my end then. Oh well.
Yeah. Skype's not saying I have any issues, but okay.
Okay. So pop up from Austria.
We have 2, right? You have 2 pop-ups now, I hope?
They stack. Oh, yes, there's just very... Okay, got it. If I move it around, I have 2 pop-ups. Cool.
Yep. So we have a herald from Austria. They're just letting us know that they have a new ally named in the Palatinate. So Austria's allied the Palatinate, and England has allied Ulster. Okay. If you're using my keyboard shortcuts mob, you can press the Z key when you have a pop-up selected to go to the location. It'll take you to the nation that sent the herald. The C key will click the OK button and clear it out of the way.
Why would I want to go to the nation that sent the herald as opposed to the nation that allied with?
That's just what Paradox did, and it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, got it.
Yep. I don't know why it goes to the wrong nation, but you're correct. It should go to the nation that they've allied instead of the nation that sent it, I think. But so the reason why we got those pop-ups is because, number 1, you're using my exact message settings, and number 2, that nation, Austria, is the Holy Roman Emperor. So he's a special guy, and you automatically have him set as a special interest nation at the start of the game. He's not really relevant to what's going on in our neighborhood, but it's interesting, at least, to see what's going on with the Emperor. Okay. So we'll leave that on. And the reason we got a pop-up about England is because they are our rival. They're also next to us, and they are set as special interest.
Lots of these alliances are happening in the background between lots of different countries.
Oh, yeah.
We're only getting notified about the ones that are relevant to our interests in some way that we've specified.
Yes. And the way to modify that, if you actually wanted to change who you get interesting information about, bottom right-hand corner above the interface for the mini-map, above the map modes buttons, there's a little envelope, little tiny mail indicator. Click that one, a little thing will pop out.
Yep.
Bottom right button is the one where you can set your message filter settings. And this is where you could click like deselect all. Say, I don't want to know anything about anybody. You could say best guess, which is what it defaults to when you first start the game. You could say enemies, allies.
Okay.
And you could also add or replace or add to current selections. So you don't have to just choose one of these options. You could actually sort by name and find the country specifically that you want to have interest in.
3,000 hours would you say were spent customizing the interface?
Not too many. I don't know. A couple dozen. So anyway, we'll just leave that as default. I just wanted to briefly mention why we got those specific pop-ups. And with that said, let's go ahead and unpause.
Right.
And we're going to let some time go. We're going to try to make France like us, try to secure a proper alliance.
I just watching the privateer move, and before it moved, it got a lock icon on the bottom right-hand corner of the flag.
Yes.
Why?
That's a great question. If a army or navy have moved at least 50% of the way to the next tile that they're trying to go to, they get movement locked, and you cannot cancel the command. They're committed to that action. Okay. The idea being that they're already halfway there, and they can't be, like the messenger can't get there in time to tell them, hey, come back. So they're going to move to the next thing over. That's going to happen with every army, every navy, every time they move from one tile to the next.
Got it.
It can be very useful in combat to trap armies where you want to engage them in favorable terrain.
So you can see your enemies' lock icons too?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now notice there, we actually have some vision. The Navy in Dogger Bank is providing us with vision of each additional sea tile adjacent to the sea tile that it's in, plus every province that it's adjacent to. So since we're in Dogger Bank, we can see every adjacent province to the Dogger Bank sea tile. So we can see Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, Norfolk,
Kent,
Essex.
Strangely. Okay.
And we can see there that the Royal Army of England is 13k strong. They've got Richard Plantagenet, I think roughly somehow how you spell his name. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Okay.
He's very, very good. He is a scripted leader that they start with. He's incredibly strong, very, very scary. We're hoping he dies a fiery death as soon as possible.
Can we poison him with spies or something?
Sadly, no. There's no method. That's a great suggestion, by the way. That should totally be a feature they add to the game. The ability to spend spy network strength to try to kill their generals. Oh, man.
Kill leaders? Yeah, that would be kind of
Night
cool.
strikes? Hell yeah. All right, did you get a pop-up about Aragon and Austria?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Do I need to pause, or do we just...
No, you can if you want. France has just allied Navarra. France has allied Genoa. And France has allied Castile. So that's great. I'm going to pause real briefly here. France has decided to become friendly with Castile. And we talked earlier.
Be different in each game?
Yes, they may or may not. They may end up deciding that they hate France. They hate Castile.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Our allies are now allies.
Exactly, which means that we've formed a triumvirate. Scotland, France, and Castile can all be friends together, and none of us hate each other, and we can hopefully get a strong alliance here with Castile at some point in the future.
Do we get modifiers in some way or something because they like each other, or just no negative modifiers because they don't dislike each other?
Correct. Like if we chose, let's say we wanted to be allies with France, and France decided that they hate Castile, it'd be the same situation we ran into with Burgundy, where we've got to choose between France and Burgundy or France and Castile.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm asking is, how is that actually displayed in the game? Are you going to get some sort of negative influence with France because you're also friends with Burgundy?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Here would be the way that you would see it.
So here we're just not getting negatives. There's not an additional positive because they're both allies. It's just not getting a negative.
That's correct. Go ahead and like right-click on the country, like say Burgundy, and then
okay. Oh, hold on, where the fuck are they?
So you right-click on Burgundy. You're on your diplomacy screen. You see the declare war, alliance actions, influence actions. You see those things?
I gotta find Burgundy right now. How do I?
North of France.
Zoom. Yeah, no, it's the zoom. I was too zoomed in, so I'm getting friggin' the little regional names.
Ah, yeah.
A little smaller in names. So as soon as I'm on Burgundy now.
Yep. Okay, so you see where in alliance actions it says offer alliance.
Alliance actions. Yes, I do. Okay.
Okay. First off, you have to have a diplomat to send to actually do interactions. That's one of the reasons we have diplomats. But if you hover over the little red X, you can see all of his reasons for acceptance or non-acceptance of the proposal.
Scotland's threatened by England. Burgundy option from Scotland opinion. Okay, got it.
Yep. So the is threatened by England is because Burgundy has rivaled England, and England is we're threatened by them. Like they're next to us, they could attack us, and it gives Burgundy a reason to try to become friends with us.
Okay.
Their opinion of us is just their opinion divided by 5, I think, is the number, or 4. I can't recall off the top of my head here, but whatever their actual opinion of our country is affects their reasons for an alliance. And then our diplomatic reputation, which is another resource that you can build up. We have a negative 20 malice because we're playing on hard difficulty. Neutral attitude towards Scotland, negative 20, means that they don't look at us as an actual ally yet. They're just neutral. They don't think anything of us. And then they think that our army is a bit weak, negative 4 reasons.
Okay.
With France, we're a long ways off. We have negative 32 reasons for an alliance with France. So we got to work towards building that up. They really think that our navy or our army is weak, negative 22.
Is that because some of that comparison is between their army score and our army score?
Yes, their army is significantly stronger than ours, and so they think that we're weak. They're willing to keep our guarantee going at least, but they are not very strong. Notice how we're dragging in some spoils of war here now. We got our English channel, 0.42 ducats.
I hadn't noticed. Where do I see that?
You've stolen some crumpets. Okay,
Excellent.
F1 and then the 4 key to go to your economy tab.
Okay, so it's... Oh, I thought you were seeing it visually on the map somewhere. So this is just... this is actually... Those privateers have got in place and started doing their work?
Yep. And on the left side...
0.42, got it.
Taxation, production, trade, and now we also have spoils of war because we're stealing their crumpets, and they're delicious.
Are they going to, at some point, do something about us stealing their crumpets?
Oh, yeah, they'll probably attack us at some point. Or they'll attack France directly, more likely. All right,
getting pop-ups.
Getting pop-ups about countries we do care about here. There. England has allied 2 of the one-province miners in Ireland.
Okay.
So he's trying to play the diplomatic game, be friendly with these little one-province miners. He's probably going to try to vassalize them. Is the thing there. Vassalization's where basically they puppet the nation. They say, you know, you are your own nation, but you also kind of swear fealty to me. England has entered into an alliance with Provence, which doesn't really affect us too much. Provence is mostly landlocked. They're not going to be able to help bring England versus us.
Oh, this one actually brought me where I wanted to go.
Interesting.
This one brought me to Provence, which I didn't know where it was. So.
Useful. Okay. All right, so let's talk about force limit. Let's talk about army size and stuff like that. Go ahead and press F1.
Okay.
And then don't ask me why, but press the comma key.
Comma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Notice how there's like 13 tabs at the top of the screen. There used to be 10. As they've added more tabs, they just like seemingly picked random shit for the keyboard shortcuts. And so they ended up going 1 through 0 and then comma, period, quotation mark.
Okay.
It's nonsensical in my mind. But yes, military is the comma key. We have 13 out of 18 force limit. You see, these are the types of units we can train. We've got Western Unit Tech, Latin Medieval Infantry, Latin Knights. We don't have cannon technology yet, artillery.
Okay, I see at the top. Those are the ones. Okay. Yep.
And then a little bit below that, you see naval units. We've got heavy ships, light ships, galleys, and transports. And then we've got our army tradition. There's where you can see land morale 0.5 because we're not paying our troops. And then force limit 13 out of 18. If you hover over it, the tooltip will give you a breakdown of how we've arrived at 18. We have independent nation plus 6 from 7 provinces plus 8.12, and then Scottish traditions gives us plus 33% increased force limit.
Is that a region-specific or country-specific bonus?
It's a country-specific bonus, which we'll talk about probably in the next episode. But basically, we're at 13 out of 18 troops. We could train more men. We have the men available. We have manpower to make the troops, but we also kind of have a little bit of a financial situation here because we've gone nuts on advisors. Okay. So just be aware, we could have more men. But we're not going to do it yet.
Financial situation. We're losing 0.12 gold per month, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not exactly in dire straits here.
No, we're not doing too bad. But we also, if we were to train more men, right?
It would up the cost. Yeah.
You see the Western Unit Tech. See Latin Medieval Infantry.
Yeah.
Hover over where it says the 10 ducats, the ducats column, regiment cost. Base cost is 10. Base maintenance 0.21 ducats per month. Yep. So a mothballed infantry would cost half that. So every infantry we train would cost us an extra 0.1 ducats a month. So if we trained up to our force limit in infantry, for example, we'd be spending an extra half ducat a month right now.
Yeah, and to be clear, that first one that says regiment costs, do we have to pay that up front?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be fairly expensive right now to invest in more. Not so much for the upkeep cost, although that does start to add up, but for the raw upfront. So we have very little in our treasury. We have 50 of whatever this biscuit-looking thing is.
When we go to war with England, we will definitely want to...
Is this what we're stealing, by the way, when you keep talking about stealing the English biscuits? Are we stealing these biscuits?
Biscuits, those are ducats. They're not biscuits, that's gold.
No, these are biscuits.
Okay, apparently from now on, ducats are biscuits.
Perfect.
Yeah, so...
Okay.
All right, well, we did unpause the game. We got like 2 months in, but it's that time of day already. We're going to have to wrap it up here. We'll be back tomorrow, though. We'll let some more time pass. Don't worry.
See you guys soon.
See you in a bit.